Hey, friends, it's Dr. Sherri, and welcome to the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly Education Edition. Go ahead and grab your morning coffee, tea, or whatever gets you going, and join me for a real look at what's happening in education across the nation. The good stories that give us hope, the bad ones that make us sigh, and yes, the ugly truths we've got to face if we ever want things to change. Let's talk about what's really going on in our schools and why it all matters. Good morning. I am Dr. Sherri, and I am your host for today's Good, Bad, and Ugly Education Edition. We are going to highlight real progress in our schools, some troubling cultural trends, and one very growing crisis that is happening inside high schools across our country. I hope you will stay tuned for the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly Education Edition. Good morning. I am Dr. Sherri, and I am your host for today's Good, Bad, and Ugly Education Edition. We are going to highlight real progress in our schools, some troubling cultural trends, and one very growing crisis that is happening inside high schools across our country. I hope you will stay tuned for the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly Education Edition. All right, let's go ahead and start with some good news today. According to the Associated Press, FAFSA, that lovely form that you have to fill out for college funding, has been fixed. According to the Associated Press, FAFSA completion rates are finally improving after the Department of Education released some major system fixes. Counselors in multiple states have reported that students are finally receiving their financial aid packages. Families can make decisions, and the panic that marked the start of this year is starting to settle out. When the system works the way it's supposed to, students get clarity, families get stability, and schools can support them more effectively. This is a win for your Thursday morning. An additional win today is that the AP is also reporting several districts, especially in the Midwest, are starting to embed mental health counselors directly into classrooms instead of relying only on pull-out services. Early results are showing fewer suspensions, calmer classrooms, and faster access to support. This not only reduces stigma, but it helps students before the behaviors escalate, and it helps create a school culture where mental health is treated as part of learning and not separate from it. What a great win for today. All right, and now for a bad that I continue to see over and over in the news. A teacher at Maya Angelou French Immersion School in Maryland is under investigation after a TikTok video that he posted went viral. More than 7 million views on this video. The problem isn't that he posted, but the problem is what he posted. In the video, students were seen removing his braids. They were laughing, they were interacting, and they were having a great time. The problem comes because students were all very clearly identifiable. And he framed this in the right way. He framed it as a positive classroom moment. But the district says that recording and posting students without proper permission is a violation of policy, and it crosses an important boundary. This isn't the first time that this has happened. A substitute teacher, I believe in Texas, had the same issue. She posted a video, it received over 2 million views, and she was immediately terminated from the substitute position. It's raising a bigger question because classrooms are becoming content. Teachers are posting, students are posting. But what happens to the trust that we as parents put into the school district? How do we trust that our child is not being exposed? How do we trust that this is being posted in a positive light? Or, AI is crazy these days. Everybody is crazy these days. It's it's hard to know what is happening when we are letting people take pictures of our children, posting them without our consent. What happens to the professionalism? Are they there to teach? Are they there to support their side gig? It becomes an offhanded question. And I know that there are districts out there who have worked with it, who have created lines, who have come up with the right way, because you see teachers all the time sharing their classrooms. And that's great because it's a way to mentor other teachers. How do we keep it professional? How do we make sure that we're not taking away from the learning of those students? And finally, what message does it send when that learning environment becomes a social media backdrop? We have talked over already about the impact of social media on these youth and the mental health crisis that there currently is an epidemic, like we just spoke about in the good. What happens when that becomes an even more prominent feature in their learning? This story, it's not just about this one teacher. Unfortunate for them, they lost their position. But it's about a growing tension between digital culture and educational responsibility, and how do we manage or walk that line? That today is our bad of the day. All right, for today's ugly, it is a concern that parents across the country, teachers across the country, grandparents across the country have all probably voiced. It is a discussion on the topic or the crisis of vaping, however you want to look at it. One school in Indiana has had a epidemic of proportions with multiple students at Carmel High School being hospitalized after vaping ultra high potency THC cartridges. One of these cartridges was reportedly measured above 80% of THC. In fact, that multiple students, more specifically, is 17 students this school year alone, have been caught using or distributing these products. But the real problem isn't that they're doing it, because that is a problem of itself. But the problem is where they're getting these devices. Investigative Plus reports show teens are now being able to bypass age restrictions entirely by purchasing the vape devices through online shops and social media sellers. In one school district in South Carolina, nearly 200 vaping incidences were reported this year, many involving disguised high nicotine devices ordered online and delivered straight to students' homes. This is not just a discipline issue. It is a targeted youth industry, and it is a health emergency. Most importantly, it's a safety crisis schools cannot fight alone. When teenagers can order devices that look like USB drives, receive them through the mail, and end up hospitalized, that is a problem that extends far beyond school walls. And it's one we need to start talking about openly. How do we educate our teens to understand the crisis that is vaping, the problems that come from it, the health effects, and the long-term implications? So let's go ahead and wrap up today's edition. As always, the good is reminding us what is possible when systems function and students get the support they deserve. The bad is showing us how quickly the classroom culture can shift and is shifting with digital influence is colliding with education. And finally, the ugly is revealing that there is an urgent challenge quietly unfolding in our schools, the ones students are living through long before adults fully understand them. If we're going to build schools that help students learn, trust, and thrive, we have to pay attention to all three. We can't celebrate progress without addressing the gaps, and we can't expect schools to carry these burdens alone. Thank you for spending a few minutes with me this morning. Stay informed, stay engaged, and let's keep pushing for the kind of education our kids deserve. That's our chat for today, friends. If something you heard made you think, smile, or maybe even shake your head a little, share this episode with someone who cares about kids in classrooms. You can find full show notes, source links, and ways to connect at educationthatmatters.net. And if you've got a story to share, something good, bad, or maybe a little ugly from your own school or community, I'd love to hear it. Send it to me at sherry.rochelle@outlook.com, and it just might be featured in an upcoming episode. I'm Dr. Sherri, and this has been The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly Education Edition. Until next time, keep learning, keep trusting, and keep thriving.